When inflation slows, prices don't fall. And that isn't a mistake. It's how the system actually works. The common assumption is straightforward. If inflation measures how fast prices rise, then slower inflation should mean prices start coming down. But inflation tracks movement, not position. When inflation slows, prices are still higher than before. They're just rising more slowly. That difference explains why inflation headlines often feel disconnected from real life. Once prices move up, the conditions that push them there don't automatically reverse. Costs don't reset just because inflation cools. They settle at a new level and become the starting point for everything that follows. Prices are built in layers. Input costs adjust. Wages are renegotiated. Contracts renew at higher rates. Pricing models are recalibrated around a new baseline. All of this happens during inflationary periods. When inflation slows, those layers remain in place. Slowing inflation changes the speed of price increases, not the direction of the system. You can see this most clearly in everyday charges that used to feel temporary. A delivery fee that once appeared during busy periods becomes standard. A small surcharge that felt provisional turns into a permanent line item. Nothing dramatic happens. The charge simply stops being questioned. That's how higher prices settle in. There's also a behavioral layer reinforcing this process. During periods of rising prices, expectations adjust. What once felt expensive starts to feel normal. Once a price is accepted as the going rate, it's no longer treated as temporary. That acceptance is difficult to undo. Businesses rarely lower prices unless there's strong pressure to do so. Price reductions usually follow excess supply, collapsing demand, or intense competition. Slower inflation doesn't automatically create any of those conditions. It simply stabilizes the environment businesses are already operating in. From a system perspective, stable high prices are easier to manage than falling prices. They support planning, protect margins, and reduce uncertainty. Falling prices introduce disruption and signal instability. So when inflation slows, the system doesn't rewind. It consolidates. That's why the experience feels unsatisfying. Inflation appears to improve, but everyday costs don't. It feels like progress without relief. Nothing is being held back. There's no missing step that brings prices down once inflation slows. Inflation pushed prices up. Slower inflation just stops pushing as hard. What remains is an economy that has already adjusted to higher price levels, moving forward from that new baseline rather than returning to the old one.